Newsflash, they have did it again. Who knew people could be such hypocrites on so many levels? Ladies and gentlemen, gather round for a dose of reality that's more infuriating than a broken promise. It's time to dive into the cesspool of political absurdity and unravel the tangled web spun by none other than President Joe I've Got a Plan Biden. You won't believe the audacity, the sheer audacity of this man. Who would have thought that the folks who preach about compassion, justice, and moral high ground could be the very hypocrites who throw those ideals out the window when it's convenient for them? But oh no, we're not talking about just any hypocritical episode. We're talking about a hypocrisy so grand, so monumental, it could make Mount Everest blush in shame. The Biden administration, the self-proclaimed champions of progress, the knights in shining armor for the marginalized, are responsible for launching what can only be described as the largest explosion of illegal child labor in American history. Bravo, folks, bravo. With immigration policies that seem to have been devised by a committee of blindfolded monkeys, President Biden has managed to turn our country into a playground for exploitation. But don't worry, dear citizens, because as always, it's not their fault. It's never their fault, is it? No, it's up to Congress to swoop in and clean up the mess they've created, while they sit comfortably on their thrones of bureaucratic incompetence. In just 2 short years, investigators have unearthed horrific instances of innocent young souls toiling away in slaughterhouses in Nebraska and Hyundai suppliers in Alabama. And who's orchestrating this grim symphony? None other than our beloved president, who, instead of enforcing immigration laws, would rather see children's dreams sacrificed on the altar of political convenience. Hold on to your hats, folks, because here comes the real kicker. Remember those safeguard operations that were painstakingly implemented during the Trump era? Yeah, well, it turns out that they were just too much for the Biden administration to handle. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, bless his heart, decided that those operations needed to go the way of the dodo. In a move that can only be described as a masterclass in negligence, Mayorkas issued a memo instructing everyone to just throw in the towel. Cease mass worksite operations? Check. Halt investigations on employers who are complicit in this exploitation? Check. Who needs accountability when you can have a circus instead?
I want to show you a headline. Federal officials say more than 100 children worked in dangerous jobs for slaughterhouse cleaning firm. Now, that is not a headline that was from a 100-year-old newspaper. This is from today, which maybe you guessed because, yes, it has the peacock logo and it looks like it's on the internet. But regardless, the Labor Department today announced that one of the largest food sanitation companies in the country paid $1.5 million in fines for violating child labor laws, saying they used more than 100 children, some as young as 13, to work hazardous and high-risk cleaning jobs in overnight shifts in meatpacking plants across 8 states in the South and Midwest.
If you thought the previous revelations were enraging, just wait until you hear about these mind-boggling cases of corporate and governmental hypocrisy. It's time to shine a spotlight on the darkest corners of the circus tent and reveal the clowns for who they truly are. Get this, folks. The feds, the supposed protectors of justice and law, actually busted a company using child labor to clean meatpacking plants. Can you believe it? The very same institutions that are supposed to uphold ethical standards and ensure the welfare of our society are failing on a colossal scale. It's like the fox guarding the hen house. And guess what? The hens don't stand a chance. The audacity of these companies to exploit innocent children for their own gains is enough to make your blood boil. Oh, but don't think we're done here. Let's talk about Ben and Jerry's, the ice cream company that prides itself on being oh so progressive and virtuous. Turns out their suppliers are using migrant child labor, all while Ben & Jerry's parades around with their progressive values. It's like a slap in the face to anyone who believed in their supposed commitment to social responsibility. The blatant hypocrisy is so thick you could cut it with a knife. How's that for a scoop of reality, huh? And hold on to your hats because we've got more. A Chick-fil-A owner in North Carolina getting fined for violating child labor laws and paying workers in food. I mean, seriously? We're talking about a franchise that often presents itself as a paragon of family values and ethics, yet their actions tell a different story. It's like they're serving up a side of exploitation with their chicken nuggets. The gall of these companies to trample on the rights of their workers and break laws they should be upholding is absolutely infuriating. But wait, there's more. Let's not forget the cherry on top. Our dear government, the very entity that's supposed to protect its citizens and uphold the rule of law. Instead of addressing these atrocities with the urgency they deserve, it seems like they're turning a blind eye, even supporting these insidious practices. What on earth is happening to America? It's like we're witnessing a slow-motion train wreck of values and integrity. The land of the free and the home of the brave is becoming the land of exploitation and the home of double standards. The complete and utter hypocrisy displayed by these companies and our government is beyond staggering. They claim to champion causes and agendas while simultaneously engaging in practices that go against everything they supposedly stand for. It's like they've all enrolled in the Hypocrisy 101 course and graduated with honors. Geez, the lengths they'll go to improve their profit margins and maintain their facades of virtue are truly jaw-dropping.
There's growing outrage after a New York Times investigation which found that many migrant children who come to the U.S. without their parents here are working 12-hour shifts or more at factories, even though it violates child labor laws. The Times found that, quote, migrant child labor benefits both under-the-table operations and global corporations. In Los Angeles, children stitch Made in America tags into J. Crew shirts. They bake dinner rolls sold at Walmart and Target. They process milk used in Ben and Jerry's ice cream and help debone chicken sold at Whole Foods. As recently as the fall, middle schoolers made Fruit of the Loom socks in Alabama. In Michigan, children make auto parts used by Ford and General Motors.
America, now a landscape where ethics are sacrificed on the altar of greed, where virtue signaling and empty words take precedence over actual action. The circus continues, the clowns keep performing, and we're left here shaking our heads in disbelief. Are we going to let America develop into this sick dystopian society, or are we going to start to make a change? These stories, these instances of flagrant hypocrisy from both corporations and the government, paint a grim picture of a society that's lost its way. We should look at the bigger picture, and it's clear that we're living in a time where principles are often traded for profit and integrity is overshadowed by convenience. But we do not stand by idly, and neither should anyone else who finds themselves disheartened by these revelations. It's time for a call to action, a rallying cry for accountability and change. Let's hold these corporations and institutions accountable for their actions. Let's demand transparency, honesty, and a commitment to the values they claim to hold dear. It's easy to become cynical and resigned in the face of such overwhelming hypocrisy, but that's precisely what those in power are counting on. We here at Red Alert believe that each individual has the power to spark change, to shine a light on the darkness and demand better. It's time to use our voices, our purchasing power, and our votes to send a clear message that we won't tolerate this level of deception any longer. So as we navigate this landscape of contradictions, let's remember that change doesn't come from apathy. It comes from raising our voices and taking a stand. Let's not be passive spectators in this circus of hypocrisy. Instead, let's be the force that pushes for a more ethical, transparent, and just society. If you found yourself nodding in agreement, shaking your head in disbelief, or even just chuckling at the sheer madness we've uncovered, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more doses of reality. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments section below. Share your thoughts, your frustrations, and your take on the mind-boggling hypocrisy we've explored today. And hey, if you've got your own stories of corporate and governmental absurdity to share, I'm all ears. The path may be challenging, but the destination is worth every effort. This is Red Alert, urging you to be the change you want to see in the world. Red Alert, signing off.